Namaste, Assalamu alaikum, Sitaram, where am I? This is Downtown Parade, Kingston. It separates Upper King Street from Lower King Street. And historically, it has been around, it has been a popular park or a military parade predating Taki's rebellion of 1760. In fact, on that occasion, it was used as an execution ground. But it was popularly called originally Queen Victoria Park. How imperialistic. But in 1977, under Michael Manley, that government changed the park's name to Sir William Grant in commemoration of this great war hero who was a labor rights activist and contemporary of Sir Alexander Bustamante. In fact, William Grant, seen here, was so actively involved in the labor movement in 1938 that he was also arrested for demonstrations, especially in the waterfront area. However, apart from being impressed by the fact that Jamaica's government had the brazen attitude to capture a name of a park and claim it in terms of an indigenous symbolic hero, we can't help but wonder if we will see greater attempts at constitutional reform culminating in republic status soon. Nevertheless, I move on with my journey to Cross Road. We are along Slipe Road because I have to meet a friend in New Kingston Mall. I'm going to take you to New Kingston Mall. But on my right, it's actually going to be Marisco Road. I'm not going through Marisco Road, but we are in proximity to Wilma's Boys, Wilma's Girls on the right. We're actually close to Crossroads that will have St. Hugh's. But if we keep on the left, we're getting close to Crossroads proper. We're getting close to places like Torrington, Early Childhood Baptist, Moravian Center, where my godson studied once. And we are getting close to downtown Crossroads by the cinema. The famous Carib 5 Theater is going to be coming up on the left next to the World War II memorial seen here on the left. That's the image of a soldier on that pillar site commemorating World War II loss of life. There were actually parishioners in Kingston and even as far as St. Andrew that they contributed as part of the British West India Regiment and they lost their lives. So there is a monument for them. To get to New Kingston though, we could take Hope Road seen here and we'll eventually empty out into Oxford Road and then use that as an outlet to transition. This is Oxford Road here. There are some popular car places on the left like Audi dealerships. Ripon Road is on the left as well. That will take you back out to Crossroads. And we see Pegasus Hotel and Planning Institute of Jamaica on the right hand side. Very important development agencies. The Jamaica Development Bank is also coming up on the left hand side there. And once again, that PIOJ building I'm showing you again used to be the old embassy, but now it's actually in proximity to Standpipe and Liguanea. That's the home of the new US Embassy where people queue from 5 a.m. But Planning Institute of Jamaica does a wonderful job in designing the policies, particularly Vision 2030. As we turn into Emancipation Park here on the left, that is opposite from Pegasus Hotel. This park itself was originally part of the wider Knutsford racetrack, and that racetrack itself was a donation from previous colonial planters who decided to give up land to the colony of Jamaica to develop natural parking sites, green sites, after Port Royal had sunk in the 1692 earthquake. So it's really fascinating that there was always a sense of urban planning and green spaces in Jamaica from since then. This dispels the myth, the narrative of Jamaica being a third world territory. As we see in New Kingston Mall that is now more gentrified with Japanese restaurants, pubs and bars like the one seen on the right that I did not visit. And it is opposite to some spanking buildings like the Foreign Affairs Embassy, like the Sagicor building seen in the distance. And there's even a theater house close by. Look at how beautiful this new mall is, and it is actually very close to some call centers that are on the main street of New Kingston. Now, in the old days, where this mall is located once housed Cuddies. And anyone who knows West Indies cricket will tell you Cuddies was owned by the great fast bowler Courtney Walsh. In fact, fun fact, the main street of New Kingston, up until about 5 or 10 years, seen on my right hand side close to Tasty Patty, was actually home of Triple Century Sports Bar, owned by, guess who? The world boss, Christopher Henry Gale. So we have seen gentrification and changes in New Kingston, because in those old days, as I remember, when I traversed New Kingston to work for CXC, the Equinox Bar and Triple Century were banging places that the Trinis, Guyanese and small islanders would flock to. Not just because of their love of cricket, but because these places had good customer service, good quality food. And here we're on Waterloo Road, if I'm not mistaken, and we're in the proximity to the British Embassy. On the left, we're in proximity to UCC, University of Commonwealth Caribbean. On the right, in fact, I used to lecture psychology and sociology courses at UCC, which really shot up into prominence post-COVID in response and competition to UE because of its IT suave ability to offer courses with high degrees of flexibility. But when we go through these side streets of Kingston, we'll notice a lot of gated apartments, a lot of gated communities that are well structured, well designed, with parks, green spaces, and it changes the narrative of an unplanned city. It contributes to this feeling that Kingston, or New Kingston rather, is actually a place where you can live and raise families, just like the Vision 2030 narrative of the government. So many people have this kind of polarizing view of Jamaica, that it's either this posh kind of wonderful paradise that you see in Montego Bay with 5-star hotels, or on the flip side, it's a third world country with poverty and ganja smoking, squatters and rastas of almost unkempt stereotypical nature without understanding the spiritual elements of that religion. But I feel that these essentialized stereotypes do misrepresent Jamaica. And when you pass through New Kingston, what I can tell you from my own interaction is that you come across a lot of highly skilled, highly qualified professionals who work hard, a lot of highly qualified, intelligent investors, bankers, auditors, entertainers who are making Jamaica and the world a better place. So as we move up Hope Road, we're passing schools like Arden on the right. In fact, much lower down the road would have been King's House, but I'm not showing you that today. We're also very close to Campion College. That's on our right hand side. One entrance to Campion College, in fact. Not necessarily the old Hope Road entrance, but we are in proximity of one part of Campion on our right. For those who don't know, Campion College is arguably the #1 academic high school in Jamaica, if not in the entire Caribbean. And when we eventually get out of New Kingston here, we'll see Sovereign. A lot of cars are turning into the left because they're going to Sovereign Mall. The Caribbean Airlines headquarters is actually on the right hand side. So Liguenea has a lot of restaurants. Pushpa's that I featured in a previous occasion. Pushpa's Grocery on Lane Plaza is quite popular, but here we see me ordering tofu and shiitake mushrooms. This is actually braised tofu that is in a sweet and black bean sauce. I'm having it with jasmine tea. It's a beautiful restaurant, lovely feng shui, nice aesthetics. I recommend it for the family. It's way better than the restaurants perhaps in other parts of Jamaica. For context, this is a shot of Sovereign Mall. It's one of the more beautiful spanking malls in Jamaica. You could get everything. It's also home to the original Cafe Blue. This is the Cafe Blue I like the most, that has actually vegetarian options. And it's really interesting that I've showed you a part of Jamaica here that caters for diversity. Thank you for looking at Cooking with Madho. My next episode will focus on Moran Bay. Yes, Moran Bay and St. Thomas. It's not the neglected parish since Paul Bogle. No, I'll be showing you some wonderful things. So tune in next time to Cooking with Madho. Chalgayo, Adavars Firmilinge. Bye bye. See you soon.